Hello, everybody, and welcome to lesson 11-5, which is on page 671 in your textbook. And we're learning how to factor trinomials of this form. And remember, factoring is the opposite of multiplying. It undoes multiplication. So you're breaking it back apart into its components or factors. This right here is a trinomial. I like to call it ax squared plus bx plus c. A is our leading coefficient or our first number. In our case, a has to be 1. If a is 1, you don't see it because 1 is invisible. It's assumed to be 1 if there is no number. So remember, if there is no number in front of the x squared, that means it's a 1. And this is the factoring method you can use. Otherwise, it will not work. It has to be a 1 in front of the x squared. The b and c are integers. Any numbers? Okay, see, it doesn't have to be there, but well, no, I shouldn't say that. It must be there. B and C are integers or numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3. Those are all integers. A has to be 1 for this factoring method to work. Is everybody hopefully gets that? Okay, and then we're going down to the bottom. Oh, I wanted to, go down to the bottom. And I'm going to show you the example in what I call diamond method. What is the factored form of r squared plus 11r plus 24? So a is 1 because there is no number. B is 11. And the last one is C is 24. And what you do is you make a big cross, and I call that a baseball diamond. And the last number goes on the top, or the C, so that's a 24, and you want to watch your sign. It's a positive 24, and positive you don't usually write, but make sure you include that sign. The middle number goes on the bottom. Or B, the B is the middle number right here, and that's positive 11. So that's loading the bases. And then you ask yourself, this is the question, you got to fill in these two numbers right here. And what you do is you ask yourself, what two numbers multiply to the top and add or subtract to the bottom. Make sure you write that out because this is what you're going to ask yourself. What two numbers, so they go here and here, what two numbers multiply to positive 24 and add or subtract to positive 11? So what I do is I start with the top. Excuse me. I start with the top and I write down all the factors. Gotta break it. So I take the top number, the positive 24, and I find all the factors and I list it. It's 1 times 24, but 1 and 24 will never add or subtract to 11, so that's not it. But it's also 2 times 12. 2 plus 12 is 14. And 12 minus 2 is 10, so that doesn't add up to 11. but it's also 3 times 8. And 3 times 8 is 24, and 3 plus 8 is 11. So I found my two numbers, my bases, and I put them here. I'll repeat that. 3 times 8 has to multiply to the top, add or subtract to the bottom. Those are the numbers, and they work. So I found my two numbers, so that's the first thing. And now, to finish up the question, you simply make two parentheses, because it breaks up into two binomials, and the r squared makes it r times r, because r times r is r squared, and then you have plus 3 plus 8, and that goes right here, and then you're done. So this is the factored form of r squared plus 11r plus 24. And then it's my plan over here. What is an easy way to organize your factoring? And that's what I just showed you. I call this the diamond method, where you lay out that X, and it's a baseball diamond. You have to load the bases. There's a lot right here. We're going to practice that over and over though, okay? Make sure you copy all that down. So remember this, the C is on top. Let's make that one more time to make sure you understand that when you have your diamond, the last number is on top, the middle number is on the bottom. The last number is multiply, the middle is add or subtract, okay? Let's go to the next page. We're on page 672. We're going to the top. We're going to do several of these. And they're asking us to complete this. 10 times what is 20? It has to be a 2. 10 times 2 is 20. So there's my answer there. Factor the expression x squared plus 15x plus 56. Remember, a is 1. It has to be. There's no number, so it's a 1. B is 15. That's this number. 56 is our constant, our last number, so that's there. Okay, remember when you fill your baseball diamond, it's C over B. This is multiplying, this is adding and subtracting. So we're going to factor, we're going to lay this out. 56 is your top number. 15, and they're both positive. I want to urge you to always look at the sign. We need to load our bases. We have to find the two numbers that multiply to 56 and add or subtract to 15. So I'm writing out my factors. 56 plus 1 or minus 1 is never going to get me to 15. It's also 2 times 23. 2 plus 23, 23 minus 2 will never get me to 15. What else do we have? 7 times 8 came into my mind when I worked this out. 7 times 8 is 56, and 7 plus 8 is 15. So those numbers work. 7 times 8 is 56, 7 plus 8 is 15. So now I'm preparing my two parentheses, and I'm looking x squared. So that's x times x. X times x is x squared. This is a positive, and this is a positive, so just fill that in. So there's our answer. Now it says here, check your answer. How can you check? Well, we're going to go backwards. We're going to multiply it back and see if we end up with the original question. So this is how you would check. So we have, no, come on, x plus 7 times x plus 8. That's x squared plus 7x plus 8x plus 8 times 7 is 56. These two are like terms. So I'm left with x squared 8 plus 7 is plus 15x plus 56. Notice that's what we're starting out with. So it works. Okay, that's how you check. You multiply it back. Now, when the signs are different, notice here we always had pluses. You see plus, 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 easy peasy, but now we're coming up with minuses. So that's, by the way, what they're talking about up here. B is negative and C is positive. So A is 1, which we need to. B is -6, which means less than 0. And C is 8, which means bigger than 0. Okay, if our B is negative, if B is negative, then, and A is, I should say this, if B is negative and C is positive, then both numbers you find, how should I say that? Then both numbers will be negative. Differences. There will be differences. Okay, so let's load up our diamond. The last number goes on top, the middle number on the bottom. What numbers multiply to 8, add or subtract to -6? So I take all the factors of 8. 8 minus 1 is not 6, so it's 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 plus 4. It's not -6. Do you notice that? It's -2 and -4. -2 plus -4 is -6. So these two here will always be negative if you have this thing here going on. So prepare your parentheses. Y squared means you're factoring it up to y times y is y squared -2 -4. Okay, and I always say a quick check. A quick check means make sure you haven't done anything really silly. Y times y, I check first and I check last from our FOIL. Y times y is y squared, -2 times -4 is +8. And when that matches, then usually you got it right, but I would do that quick check. Do a quick check. Just to make sure you got it, okay? And then on the next one, it says, can you factor x squared minus x plus 2? I'm inserting a 1. So our diamond would be 2 and -1. Can you find two numbers that multiply to 2 and add or subtract to -1? So 2 is 1 times 2. So 1 and 2, but can we make it to where it's -1? Nope. So this doesn't work. So I'm gonna say doesn't work. There are no two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to -1. So then we say not factorable. Using this method, because we have other methods. But then that's what we would say. If we can't find two numbers that multiply to the top and add or subtract to the bottom, it's just not factorable, then we just leave it alone like it is, okay? And then there might be other methods later I'll show you, but not in this method, okay? Let's keep going. This right here, we're looking what number multiplies to positive 10. It's -2. -5 times -2 is positive 10. That's all we need. And I'm moving on to the next page, top. Okay, now in this case, we have our negative at the end. So A is 1, B is 9, and C is negative. Okay, in this case, one number will be positive and one is negative. So if the last number is negative here, so you have a mix match. Okay, so let's make our diamond -36 and +9. So I'll find the factors of 36. That does never add or subtract to 9. 2 times 18, nope. 3 times 12, yep. Because 3 plus 12, nope. How about -3 plus 12 is 9. Here we got our pair. So -3 plus 12 would be 9. Am I correct? Yep. So let's open our parentheses. So you notice one is positive, one is negative. So it's n minus 3 times n plus 12. And we can do our quick check. N times n is n squared. -3 times +12 is -36. So then we have it. I'll call it a quick check. Okay. Let's try one that has both negatives. How does that work? Same thing. Same thing. Watch. -21 on top, -4 on the bottom, factors of 21. 2, nope, 2 doesn't have. 3 times 7, yep. And then 3 and 7 are 4 apart. So now I have to figure out 3 plus 7 is 10, nope. 3 minus 7 is -4, yep. So we have 3 minus 7. 3 minus 7 is -4, 3 times -7. Then we have our answer. C plus 3 minus 7. Quick check, C times C, C squared, +3 times -7, -21. Okay, now let's see if you can figure out in number 5 what goes in this missing part right here. I'm going to give you a second. It has to multiply to -48 with -8. So let's think. Is it positive or negative? Yep, it's positive because I told you if this number is negative, one of them will be negative and one will be positive, and it would be 6, correct? -8 times +6 is -48. Next page, we're moving on. We're going to the top where it says carpentry. STEM always is something that furthers your mind, I guess. I saw a lot of STEM toys for Christmas that kind of make you think. The area of a rectangular desk. So I like to draw these out. You know, I always draw it out, and you should too. I'm drawing myself a rectangle. I'm looking down at the desk from the top. The area is given by the trinomial d squared minus 7d. You wonder, how can that be? But it's all about polynomials in this chapter. What are the possible dimensions of the desk, length and width? That's the dimensions. So we want to know what's this and what's that, because when we multiply this times that, it gives us the area. Okay, so we factor this thing. Factor d squared minus 7d minus 18. So we use our diamond method because a is 1, b is -7, c is -18. So I'm going to plug that in. Multiply, so 18 is 1 times 18. Nope. 2 times 9, yes. Because 9 and 2, I just have to figure out what's negative. That one is negative, that one is positive. So -9 and +2. So my answer, I should write it here, is D minus 9 and D plus 2. Those are the dimensions. There you are. That's how that works. I believe this one is on the quiz. Make sure you understand it. You got your area. Length times width will give you the area. And if you check it out, when you multiply it back, this is what you're going to get. So you want to do the opposite. You want to factor it to get the parts. And then last but not least, what else is here? Oh yeah, what is if we have more than one variable? Notice we have, oops, what happened? There we are, page 674. Notice we have more than one variable. We got an M and an N. Same thing, A is 1, B is 6, C is -27. Draw, make your diamond. +6. 27 is 1 times 27 and 3 times 9. So that would work. It's 9 minus 3 is 6. So it's 9 and -3. 9 times -3 is -27. 9 minus 3 is 6. Okay. So, but listen, we got M and N. So we have to kind of prepare our parentheses. The M squared is first, so that's right here. M times N, and then it ends with the N squared, so that goes in the end. Because N times N is N squared. And our numbers go right in the middle. And there's our answer. That's how it happens when you have more than one letter, okay? And that's it for the lesson. Here's your homework. Lesson check, yep. So we got a lot of homework because these are the things you have to practice to get good at. And then you pass your quiz with 100%. Here's one of those area problems. Here's just the question. Tell positive, negative. So C is negative, right? C is -30. So one answer is positive and one negative. And then you can factor it. That's kind of what they want to know. Make sure you put a 1 here. Okay, if there's no coefficient, add a 1 in front. Next is number 17. Guess what? We're going to do all those. You got to get good at factoring. Diamond method. Insert a 1. Okay, this 19 is the same question as before. If C is negative, one number is positive, one is negative. Is B is negative and C is positive, both numbers are negative. I wrote it down, you got to look it up. And then we're going to do 21. Look for the error. This one is a little thinking question. These are easy. You just combine your like terms. These are like terms. These are called algebraic tiles. And I think you had an IXL on that. And then you have 6 more that you can practice on a separate paper. Got to get good at these. That's where practice comes in. Repeating it over and over will get you good at it. All right, we'll see you later, okay?